For the insurance industry, 2021 was the second highest loss year on record, with overall insured losses of 120 billion US dollars. The economic losses worldwide from natural disasters in 2021 were 280 billion US dollars. But there are also two major events worthwhile mentioning in 2021. The first one, Hurricane Ida. Hurricane Ida made landfall in the US in the New Orleans region and produced with 36 billion US dollars the highest loss from a single event in 2021. The overall losses were 65 billion US dollars. But there was a positive observation with Hurricane Ida. The levees and dikes, which failed with Hurricane Katrina in 2005, stood up, and that contributed to a significant reduction of losses, both to property but also to lives. The second event to mention in 2021 were the flash floods in Germany and neighboring countries. The overall insured losses were 13 billion US dollars. That's 4 times higher than the previous record from flooding in Germany and other European countries. The economic losses were 54 billion US dollars. What made this event so special is that even more than 100 people died. And that's really a strong lesson which we have to learn in the insurance industry and risk managers in general, also in the public sector, to put flash floods, this very specific type of flood, much closer on our radar to manage this risk properly in the future. Let me start with the meteorological extremes of 2021. There were these major heat waves affecting the northwest of the United States of America, and even north of the Arctic Circle, temperatures in excess of 30 degrees centigrade have been recorded. But also the opposite was the case. I would like to remind you on the Texas freeze in February 2021, which is linked by researchers also to global warming, as climate change affects the entire atmospheric circulation, leading to extremes in both ways, to hot and to cold. In the North Atlantic, we saw another high record hurricane season with 21 named storms. That compares with the long-term average of 14, and just the previous year of 2020 saw a record of 30 named storms. Now, moving on from meteorological events to the impact of climate change on losses. And here the flash flooding events of Germany and neighboring countries, Belgium and the Netherlands, has to be mentioned. Climate attribution science clearly links these flash flood events to global warming, as the probabilities of such events occurring has increased over time. And the physics are very clear. A warmer atmosphere can hold more moisture, resulting in more extreme precipitation. So there's a lesson to learn for us in our industry and also with risk managers in the public sector. Put flash floods much higher up on the radar and understand these risks better, model them in more detail, and help also here society to mitigate losses in the future. The so-called Paris Agreement calls for the limitation of global warming to well below 2 degrees centigrade relative to pre-industrial values. Munich Re has subscribed to net zero alliances both on the asset side and on the liability side. So we are fully supporting with our business model on both sides of the balance sheet the targets of the Paris Agreement. On the global warming itself and our contribution as a reinsurer, we can mainly act with respect to our investments, divesting from carbon-intense investments and shifting our investments more into low carbon and zero carbon technologies. And on the liability side, this is where we have our core business activities. Our contribution to global warming is developing new risk transfer solutions for new technologies. New with our risk transfer solutions are performance warranties for battery storage systems, but also in the hydrogen space, electrolyzers. We are developing risk transfer solutions to help making investments into these technologies easier and help improving the bankability of new technologies. So that's a very strong impact we can have as an insurer, as Munich Re, in this energy transformation process, mitigating climate change. As a risk management industry, we have a clear role and even responsibility to provide risk transfer solutions to adapt to the unavoidable impacts from natural disasters, and even more so under climate change conditions. These risk transfer solutions can either be private, so risk transfer solutions and insurance policies for individuals, but also for corporates, but also can be in the form of public-private partnerships. And when looking at the so-called insurance gap, so the not insured part of natural disasters, public-private partnerships play a major role with respect to developing and emerging countries. 2021 has again shown that the insurance gap in low-income countries was above 90%. So the majority of these losses are not insured. With the development of public-private partnerships to cover risks from natural disasters and climate change, the insurance industry can help bringing value to low-income societies as well by absorbing economic shocks from these events and helping stabilizing economic growth.